right, this is the Black Fatherhood Legacy Podcast. My name is Jay Cortez Thomas, and this is
Dwayne Wilson.
And we're back at you again. We just got off of Father's Day, didn't we?
Man, and it was a good Father's Day.
It was.
It was really good. It's awesome, man. How was yours?
I mean, I can't complain, man. My wife said, it's your day. What do you want to do? I said, nothing.
Hey, that's always awesome.
Right?
What do you want to do? Nothing.
Absolutely nothing. I just wanted to just chill, enjoy my family, enjoy my kids, them understanding what Father's Day is. Like my son is 2, so he doesn't really understand it yet. My daughter's like, oh, it's Dad's Day, but it's so funny because my wife was like, she kind of pointed something out to me that I didn't even realize is Father's Day is in the summer. Kids are out of school. So the moms, they get that last month of school where they get the little macaroni necklace and they get the
gifts and everything.
Yeah, and we get kind of like left out. And so I was like, well, they didn't make me anything, but at the same time, like, that usually happens in school and stuff like that. So I was good. Like, I don't need much. All I need is like, Dad, we thank you. You provide, you love us,
exactly.
You play fight with us, you do the whole 9, show us Marvel movies, you good. So today's topic, we want to talk about manhood because this is the first episode. And so before we get into all the nuances of being a father, the first thing to being a father is being a man, right? And so I want to talk about manhood, but I also want to talk about manhood in this context, like stereotypes, the stereotypes that we often see in society that they place on men, or often in our culture, the things that we place on ourselves as men. And so I have a list here. We'll just go down it, but I have self-sufficiency, acting tough, physical attractiveness, rigid masculine gender roles, hypersexuality, and then I got aggression and control. So these are the things that often are, I guess, typecast to men,
to
right?
Men and what manhood
is,
quote unquote, is, right?
Yeah, and how we get measured or judged by each other. Like we have our own barometer and how we judge each other, and I think we all kind of at some point in our lives have used this measuring stick to kind of judge our manhood. But like self-sufficiency. So, the men should figure things out on their own. Like, don't need any help. Like, I got this, right? And so I kind of put this with, so like we go on trips, me and my wife, like everybody else, but when I get in the car, I'm usually the one that wants to drive. Like if we go a long distance,
you're driving.
I'm driving, right? And I get it because I don't know if this is cultural or if it's societal, but for some reason, I don't want directions. Like, don't tell me where to go. Like, I know I've been here before. I've been in this city. I know where the CVS is. Like, do not tell me go right here. Don't tell me turn left. Or I'm real bad about even GPS and stuff because I'm the man. I know. I know the Siri can't tell me where to go, And so what do you think about that? Like, is that something that you often do, or?
For me, especially when it comes to long drives, I do drive, but I give a little leeway, and I don't like being wrong, so I let her go ahead and get us the maps.
Right.
Give us our directions, let us know where we're going. I mean, that way we're good to go. You can't tell me I did something wrong because, hey, it wasn't me.
Right.
I know where I was going. I'm driving the right way.
Right.
We both listening to Siri, right? So look, we're good to go.
You take it off of you.
Yeah. But no, it is something there where it's like, if I know I'm here, I've been here before, well, watch something on your phone. You don't need, I got it. We're good to go. Like, I've been here too many times. I don't need nobody. I'm good. Something happens. Okay, look, that's on me.
Right.
But, I think as men, we all share that sentiment of, we got it. This is us. I can do it on my own, or whatever the case may be. Because as kids and coming up as little boys, it was kind of, I would say, taught and just expected. Especially as young men, you already knew that the road was going to be different, or so it was said. And I mean, as you grow up, you see it to be true. So I think it all starts there. But yeah, we all share that sentiment of I got this.
Yeah, and I think too it's more of like because of the reward factor. Like in our brain, we see the guys that did it on their own get the accolades, right? They get the like, oh, he did it by himself. He didn't need anybody.
Now look at him.
Yeah. And so it's like, for some reason in society, period, not even just as men, just in general, we look at people who do things on their own, but nobody really does anything on their own, really. Like even the guys that say, I made it on my own, I did this and that. If you look at his journey for real, no, he did not do that on his own. You know?
We can all say we did it by ourselves. We, got it from here, got it out of there. But there was someone or that person or those people that helped in some certain way that got you to that level.
Right.
I mean, you can say you did it, but when you look at it, that's not the case. And I think it takes time and some maturity to realize that, because in the end, you're better when you are working with a team and you got some support, but it takes some time to get away from that thought process.
Right. Like recently we seen Steph Curry win another championship. Right?
Yeah.
And I think like a lot of people are like, well, they say he's being arrogant because he's like, oh, I won and I proved all the doubters wrong and all this, that, and the other. But this is the first time in his career where he's actually taken he's given himself individual credit for what he actually contributed, but he's still talking about the team. Like, I wouldn't have done this without the team. And so he understands the concept. He's like the most unselfish superstar we've ever seen in pro basketball. And so even he now understands more than a lot of other players is I didn't do it all by myself. And, even talk about, you go to The Last Dance with Michael Jordan, was like, he showcased his teammates because he was like, I didn't do it without them. Now, understood that I was the one that pushed him.
Yeah, I pushed him to the limits. Right. I was there and I was carrying a lot of weight, but
they still did the work.
Exactly.
And so I didn't win unless we won. Yeah. Right. And so you're right. It's like maturity to get you to a point where you can share the wealth and share the credit with other people. And I think it's on them to share the wealth. I think it's not on other people, because too many times you see other people trying to get the credit, like Scottie Pippen, for instance. Like you hear him out there, like he's trying to get the credit. Whereas if he would stop and listen, people are already giving him the credit. But when you start doing that, you start looking like it's all about me and I did it and I did this, look what I did. And that it almost gets discredited.
It does, because for me in itself, I respected Scottie more when he understood and took it as it was Jordan and Pippen. We did this, and like it doesn't have to be because he didn't say specifically this and that. Like he's showing you and giving you your credit, but because your ego is so loud, you're not able to hear it or see what's right in front of you.
Right.
And that took away from a lot of what he did. And then, he putting out his books and whatnot. It's like, come on. I get it, but come on, man. Like
everybody's giving you your flowers.
You've had your flowers. Like you're considered one of the top 50 in the league. I mean, even at your position, you're top 10, top 5. I mean, you got it. Mm-hmm. And you weren't a number one, but you still got your recognition. So,
but I think along the lines of the alumni of the basketball world, the players themselves, they understand how much he contributed. The people who are part of that know how much he contributed. But I think the media tends to do what we're talking about here, where the media pushes that individualism in men. The media pushes
The media
that.
does push it. And I think that's a good point, because that's where we have to understand our own value. Not the value that the media is putting on us and what we should have or should think or whatever it is, but what the value you hold within yourself and the standards you hold yourself to. And that's the same for Steph. Like, he holds himself to different standards, and he's finally at the point where he felt like, I did this, and I know I didn't do it alone, but through all this turmoil and all this hard work, look where we at now.
Right.
Because of you guys and what I've been able to put through, look, we've made it. And that's what they kept saying. What can they say now?
Right.
I mean, what can you say?
What can you say?
They've been through everything.
Right. And it's like, but he still finds time to give credit. So that's where the maturity level comes in. And I think the media wants that guy who's like, look at me.
They want the arrogant
They
one.
want that because it sells.
Oh, it sells tickets.
Yeah.
It puts people in the seats. It sells tickets, definitely.
Okay, I love Draymond, but what he's doing right now is what we want to see based on what masculinity and manhood, based on sociological, tendencies that have been done over time and time, and things have been pumped into the media and pumped into our brains and our psyches, our subconscious for so long. We're like, kind of want that. Like we like
you like it. You like the grittiness of it, but it's like it's still how far are you pushing it, and where's your stoppage there? Where are we going to stop with that? Because you don't want to continue just to give them what you think they want, and then it takes on a different narrative.
Right. And I think, don't get me wrong. Like there's room and place for it, because I do think that Draymond still gives the team credit. He still talks about
Draymond.
Yeah.
I love him. I love him though.
Yeah. He still gives the team credit. And so like with Manhood, I think that it's the ego that allows us to be so wanting that it was me. I did it. I did it my way.
That clarification.
I got it out the mud. Didn't nobody help me.
It was me.
I'm him. I'm
him. Look at him. That's me.
Right. Like that's me. I'm him. Like everybody wants to do that. And I think it's pumped into society, not only through just cultural, but it's also just the media does it too. Like I think everybody does it.
I think it's in all aspects. Like you can't look anywhere and not see something where you think it's the top of the line, or where you think, oh, that's one of the standards that's being met, or you should be at, or this is where it should be. Like, yeah, I did it on me. Now let's see what anybody else could do.
Right. Yeah. And I think, this ties into the second one, which is acting tough.
Mm-hmm.
So acting tough, not being tough,
acting
tough. We all know that little dude with little man syndrome that like to act tough. Like little Kevin Hart's of the world. But, acting tough is a sign of weakness, in my opinion, because it tells me that person doesn't know who they are, not comfortable with who they are, because they're trying to put on a facade or trying to portray an image that really isn't them, or portray an image that they feel is better accepted by their peers.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, like, I'm gangsta, I'm this, I'm that. But it's like, yo, we know who the real gangsters are. Like, if you around, you don't have to say
you don't have to say who you are to be who you are.
They move in silence. Yeah. So the real dudes don't be acting tough. Those tough guys are really tough guys. And so, but I think it's because of how revered tough guys are, how people look at them and like in awe.
They look at being tough as having a sense of respect.
Right.
So you go act and put on that persona, then you feel as if you're going to get that sense of respect. But all along, they're not respecting you. They're respecting the person you think you are, the facade you're holding on to. Because if you get put in whatever situation and that's not you, then your real self comes out, and that's unfortunate. So holding on to who you really are, you're going to gain more respect than quote unquote acting tough.
Yeah. Like how old are you?
I'm 31. I'll be 32 in July.
Okay. Man. So you may not know this movie. Steve, our camera guy, he probably knows what this movie is. The Last Dragon. So there's a movie called The Last Dragon. Came out when I was a kid. And in The Last Dragon, there's this dude that says the act of fighting without fighting. And the whole time he's acting tough. He's doing all the moves. He's like you don't want to, right? And so people took that for real. Like, oh, he's, he can fight. But then he actually had to fight. And it didn't go so well at first. And then later on, he tried, honed in and, into the end of the movie. But I said all that to say, like, acting tough, you will get checked.
Yeah, it can, because then that one tough person their card will get pulled. And like I said, unfortunately, you're going to show your true self. And like, it's unfortunate because you see kids now watching TV or seeing certain things in the media to where being tough is the persona to be. So if I'm tough, I'm strong. I'll be revered by everyone around me. All my peers will love me. Like, you know, I'm back to I'm me. I'm him. I'm him again. So right. it continues to go, but it has to come to where acting tough and being true to yourself you got to come hand in hand, or just be you.
Right.
It's simple.
Just be you. If you tough guy, you're tough guy.
That's you. Like, that's your persona. You hold on to it.
If you're not, be not. Be like cool. So the funny thing is, like, I used to be, I don't know, some people watching this may know my past, or some people may not, but I used to be a rapper, right? Gotcha. And I was signed, I was on a short tour with Lil 40 and E40 and Lil Jon. Mm-hmm. And I was signed to a semi-major, but my album never came out. It's a whole nother story. Gotcha. But when I was doing it, they didn't know where to place me because a lot of the guys on the label were very, very hood, mm-hmm. right? And so I'm straight out the suburbs, man. Like, I'm straight out the suburbs. But my cousins and people in my family, and like, I came up around.
You were around
a lot of that. So a lot of what I got as far as hip hop culture and any of that I learned, the art forms and things like that, were because I was around it. But I wasn't necessarily around the, I would say, stereotypical hood stuff.
Yeah, I got you.
Right. And so because of that, as an artist, they didn't really know what to do with me. They're like, what is he? Who is he? And then, mind you, this was when Kanye was just emerging.
Okay.
So he hadn't blew up yet. So people were like, can a guy wearing a polo? And
he was trying to figure out what lane to put in.
Like, and so it was like, is it going to work? Where they're putting me on records with killers. And I'm like,
that's not
my verse don't even go with, you know what I'm saying? And so I understand the whole acting tough, because there was a time when I didn't know where to be. And so we did a mixtape, and they put me on a mixtape with some straight just gangsters, right? Dirty. And so I was like, they put all the song lists, they put all the titles of the songs and what we were doing, whatever. And when they came to me, I was like, I got to write to this. So then I was like, wait, I know what these dudes is going to write, because I've listened to their music before. And I was like, what I'm about to write is not going to go. So I'm going to have to put on, right?
You got to.
And so I put on for a whole mixtape, like every single song. By the end of it, when I heard it back, I was just like, who the heck, what did I, you know, this ain't me, you know, but I could see how easily the public would have just ate it up. And then also too, the guys who were on the records were like, man, these verses were just hard. But I'm rapping about stuff I didn't even know about.
And then see, you'd have had to walk into that.
But now I had to live that life. Yeah. And so when we were on tour, there was a little incident that happened that let me know I don't want to live that life. You know what I'm saying?
For me.
And so when I came home, I left it alone. But once again, it goes to when acting tough, you will get checked. Like, because you can't act tough forever. You know what I'm saying? It's just gonna happen. And so my son, like right now, like Steph Curry was crying in the finals. Yeah. You saw that. And like there's accepted crying, right?
Oh yeah.
You can cry if you won a championship. You could cry if your son is getting married. You could cry as a man, but there's like a box, right?
We have limitations as to when we can cry.
Yeah, it's like, but it's unspoken. It's the unspoken box that only these crying episodes go in, and if you try to cry outside of that, you're a punk, right?
Exactly.
And so I think it goes back into that whole acting tough thing is we're acting tough even when we don't cry, when we want to cry.
When you want to let it out and you hold it in, that is very much so acting tough.
Yeah.
Man. We hold on to that as men, and we look at it as vulnerability. And as men and in our manhood, vulnerability can be looked at as weakness, especially when it comes to acting tough.
But women have a part in that, because I get this a lot of time, and this is not our wives. Mind you, this ain't y'all.
Yeah, no.
We love y'all. But as we were coming up and we were, single men or dating in the dating scene and different things like that, you often get this, they perpetuate that too as women, like he's crying, he's a punk, or this, that, or the other. So as women, if they want to have healthy relationships with men and have men who are, they always say they want men in touch with their feelings and guys that can tap into that space where they can articulate how they feel.
More, in touch with their feelings. Yes, sir.
If you want that, you can't perpetuate the other thing too, where he's a tough guy. So I want that, but he's really hiding. He's a little boy hiding behind the toughness. So you can't, as a woman,
you can't put him in that situation.
Yeah.
You adding more to it. And, you like you said, in that dating scene, and you're trying to find out who this person is and they're trying to figure you out. But then you realize that they like this or like that, but you're really going for this person. So you're going to start acting according, and she's going to continue to push that. But then when it's time to learn how to communicate and you've become who you've acted on, who you were this whole time, you don't learn it. You don't know how. You can't articulate your words because you've hid behind this wall for so long. And you got to the point where it was like, I'm just going to hold it all in. I got to be tough. There's no point in letting it out. And I could speak from a personal example that, I hold a lot in. I can keep it in. And I've gotten to the point where I know it's not healthy and it's not something good. And you got to let it out. So to be put in that situation by a woman or a girl that you're liking or quote unquote getting into, as
well, then also too, we say face because
definitely
it's like you don't want to, because like you said, it's weakness.
Yes,
it's a sign of weakness. So if the woman sees you crying, it's weak. If your boys see you crying, it's weak. If they see you crying over a woman, that's
even more.
Worse.
Yeah, that's even way worse. No, you can't do that.
Like, oh, you crying over a female?
Are you crying over her?
Oh man, you better go get back out there and get your pole and put it in this water and go fishing and get another one.
Come on, you better get it together.
But that whole deal, like, us as dads and now trying to instill that in young women and young men, because like we said, this is a woman thing too. Women have to allow this to take place as well.
Yeah.
So there's, we're raising, both. Well, hopefully.
Yeah. Well,
soon.
See, there we go right there. I was waiting on my little answer. So I got both girls. So I got one on the way. I got a +1, which is awesome. So that was why Father's Day was even better. Right. I got a notice of an addition. So I'm, like I said, hoping that's a boy. But yeah, we're going to need all the boy prayers out there.
Yeah. And so, raising young men
both.
And women, you have to instill that as knowing, just because me as a dad of a little girl, also like I'm trying to get her to understand a woman, but from a male's perspective.
Yes.
Like that's huge for a young girl to know, like, hey, it's okay for a man to cry.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay for these things, because now when she's looking for a mate, she's looking for a man that's like her father.
Exactly.
Which women do. But here's the problem. Women look for men to like the father figure, that the facade of that father, not the real.
Not knowing who the real father is.
Exactly. Not the realness of who we are, because we're not, like you said, we're holding in the feelings. I never saw my dad cry. So I'm seeing my boyfriend cry, and that's weak. Like, what's up with
why he cried? My dad never
cried.
cried. So exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So we got to be that in front of both our sons and, our daughters' physical attractiveness. So I've done so many studies on this because I'm in sales. I was in sales for a long time. And in sales, there are little keys to what people perceive in their mind. They have preconceived notions about what a man is supposed to be, look like, do. They also have kind of these weird, I'm telling you, it goes down to like the tie and shirt you wear, to how tall you are or how tall you seem or appear. Because here's the thing.
Oh, that's deep.
Yeah.
That's deep.
So like you can appear taller by doing, like I've read up on this stuff, and when you do, they perceive you different and they take you in. Like I'm telling you, it's so weird, but it's men. It's men, because a woman can just melt a room.
Yeah, with ease.
with
They don't have to do
little
nothing.
ease.
Yeah.
Like just
It's like a cheat code.
if she's
It's cheat-
attractive,
yeah.
she comes in and that's it. Like, you know, everybody's like beck and call. Like,
Like you see, yeah.
yeah, what do you need? What do you want? Like, I got you.
You're right.
A good looking dude could come in, but attractiveness alone
It's not gonna cut
is
it.
not going to
You gotta
cut
have some.
it.
You gotta have some additives.
He got to
It's
have
not gonna
some.
work.
He got to have the swagger
with the looks.
And so when I say physical attractiveness, I saw this one on the list that they had, and I was like, yes, but swag. And the swag factor is also something that is tend to be false, because when I was rapping, when I started to go into that new dude, the swagger that came along with it was not me. And I'm actually I'm a extroverted introvert.
Got you.
I'm a person who lights, camera, action. I'm on, but all the rest of the time I'm somewhere in a corner reading a book.
You see me.
Reading a book.
See me at the beginning. And my phone relaxing.
Yeah, like
now we're on.
But lights, camera, action. If I'm on stage, if I'm presenting, if I'm doing a speech, whatever, like I could seem like an extrovert.
Once it's go time, you're good to go.
I'm an extrovert in that, but a lot of times the swagger that we say we have,
it's probably that facade. It's just something we hold on our sleeves and we can pull up here and there. So,
it's another mask that you could put on.
Exactly.
And it's like, which one do I put on today? And so for the occasion, and one thing, it's like a viral thing on like TikTok and Reels, is Jay-Z saying, I walk into every room as myself.
Yeah, I heard that one.
I walk into every room as myself. I don't cower down. I don't change my voice. I walk into every room as myself. And when I learned how to do that, that was freeing. That was when it was like, okay, no matter where, no matter what, I could be me. And who is me? Like, so that's the I think the part of manhood that people don't talk about. You're 31.
Yeah.
So you've hit it. You hit about 30, 31. You know what you like. You know what you don't like. You know where you want to go. You know what you want to eat. You know what shoes you like to wear. You know what shoes you don't want to wear.
Exactly.
You ain't trying to put on for nobody like, oh, well, you ain't got the new Nikes. I don't care if these are the old Nikes. I like them.
These are mine.
I don't care if they're Pumas. I don't care. I almost bought some feelers the other day.
Hey, as long as they look nice and feel
you know
good,
what I mean?
they're
Because
comfortable.
I don't care if they're comfortable. They get me from point A to point B. They do what they need to do. I'm good. And so when you get to that, that's that part of manhood that a lot of men don't even ever get to. Like I've seen men like I said, it's typical of 30, 31, but it don't always happen. And so you got guys that's 40, 50, 60 still playing this facade game of, I'm trying to put on and have swagger and all this, that, and the other. And it's like, man, my swag is me. Like, if you don't like me, then you must not like my
it's too
swag.
Bad. Like, I can't do nothing about it.
Yeah,
you don't like me, you don't like me.
You don't like my swag.
I'm sorry.
Because that's swag.
That's me. My swag is me. I am my swag. Like, that's just what it is.
Yeah, so I think a lot of that is true in society, but it does need to be killed off quickly.
Oh, yeah.
So, rigid masculine gender roles. I know we're in a different time than we used to be. Men in our households and stuff, we tend to, like, women work now. Like back in the day, like a woman wasn't working. She was at home with the kids, this, that. Like women work. So gender roles have changed because I think it's changed by osmosis. It's like natural change. It's not like we purposely changed the gender roles in the society the way it is today. It
came with the progression.
It just came with the progression of what is happening in the times. And so, like, look, man, it's inflation right now. My wife gotta work. Like, you see what's happening with these, how much eggs are right now? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
man.
My wife gotta work. We went to the grocery store the other day. Gas.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah.
I put gas in my car. I have I don't know why I thought this, but I was like, oh man, I could get one more gas car before these electrics. This last car I got.
Yeah.
that was a dumb move. I should have got an electric
Should've went
car.
electric. Yeah, that's
because, man, I went to the gas pump $110.
Oh, yeah.
My wife has to work. She's not like,
now we're getting gas at this price. No,
has to work. You know, but it's like the gender roles. I think rigid masculinity and gender roles was a thing. I think it's becoming less of a thing because we're accepting the new gender roles.
Yeah.
But what I don't accept is us refraining so far from the gender roles and what they were that you don't even have a role anymore. That's what I don't like. What I see is manhood is still, you got to take care of home.
Yeah, just because she's doing more, that doesn't mean you back up less or you stop doing. No, like, yes, back then when our parents were growing up or when their parents were growing up, dad did everything and mom was at home with the kids. But yeah, we say dad did everything as far as working.
Right.
Mom did a lot at home. And she wasn't given that credit.
Nope.
So we say time has changed and women are working. No, they're working more outside the house now.
Mm-hmm.
And there's more of a balance at home, or at least there should be. So then there's that pushback.
I like that. I like what you said. Yeah, I like that. That's true. Because we don't look at what they were doing at home as work.
Right.
But you and I as like active fathers and, you know, very, you know, proactive fathers.
Right.
We tend to do the things that women used to do with the kids and things like that.
Oh,
like the woman will go and we'll take care. I got the kids for the day.
Yeah, I got them. Go ahead and relax. Like, they're
and
good.
so when you do that, you realize how much work that really, really is. Like when you get to putting a couple loads in and you do the dishes and you got the kids with the toys everywhere. They're
running up, trying to help with dinner all at the same time.
Changing diapers and feeding this kid and doing like it.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. And so, yeah, women, as far as I like that because, yeah, they worked very hard over generations. It's just that hard work is now being split between work and home. And we're taking up some of the brunt for them. We're taking off. And I think that's a part of manhood, too, is learning how to take a little bit of the load off the woman.
Yes.
In those roles.
Definitely.
Because it's like, look, you're helping take care of the house with finances. So I need to take care and pull some from
you. As you pull from what I'm helping with, I need to reciprocate and give you the same.
Yeah, because it's not those olden days where, you know, I think it's cool when I got the diaper bag and I got my kids and, you know, like I'm out getting groceries and, you know, like I think it's cool, but I just, you know, that's maybe our generation.
Yeah, because I love it. I'll tell my wife in a heartbeat, like, go ahead and chill. Me and the girls will go. They're good. We're going. We're going to go to the store and we'll take care. We'll run our errands. We'll be back.
Right.
Like,
right.
But to me, it's natural. But say someone way back then, that wasn't something that dad's leaving. He's gone. He's either going to work, to the bar, or wherever he's going to go hang out. But,
well, I even think it's not natural today because I have a set of friends from college all the way up to now.
Mm-hmm.
And I see like the spectrum of dads, right? And so you have the very old school, typical, like my wife ain't gonna work and I gotta take care of this and I'm the man and blah, 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 and I don't change a diaper. What is that? Like,
if that works for you,
you know, I don't know what to do with that bottle. And they think it's fun and funny that they don't know what to do with the bottle, but I'm like, bro, that's kind of lame.
That's not, that
you can't wipe you know your kid's tail, you know, like it's kind of lame, bro. Like it's not, you know, but I understand where that comes from because maybe that's cultural. Maybe that's what he was around. That's what he was raised. That's what he knew. So from your example, you take from it and you go, but I can also, it depends though. It also depends on you and yourself. So you can take your example and see what it was and see if that was fine for you. Right.
Or you take it and run with it and say, I'm going to add my own touch. And you see how those results for you. Yeah.
Because I see a lot of dads that go the same direction as their dad and it's totally opposite.
Exactly.
But it all depends on what you want to do. Because it's your individual, it's your family. This is you as a dad now. So I think a lot of that is just growing up, like you said, just becoming a real man.
Coming into your manhood per se.
So hypersexuality. So over sexualized, and this happens a lot in the black community. Like they think black men, that's all we do is think about that all the time.
Yeah.
That's all we want to do. The music videos don't help. Brothers, stop with the hip hop videos with the girls shaking and like,
come on, give us some more art.
Yeah. It's like, that's not all we, but it paints that picture, right? And so we want to try to get away from that. And I think our generation is doing a better job of these dads of not only themselves but instilling into their sons, like being
able to pass it on a little bit easier, being better examples.
Yeah, because my dad said he used to when he was growing up, it was like, don't turn down nothing but your collar. You know what I'm saying? To the girl.
And everything.
But like that's the era they came up in, where it was like she wanted you do it.
You have your business.
So there's a lot of womanizing, a lot of man whores, right? I mean? But in our given time, I think as we come into that manhood, we realize that hypersexuality is really a cover-up for a lot of different things. I was watching earlier 30 Minutes with the Perrys. That's a good podcast, by the way. It's Jackie Perry and her husband. But they were talking about how when you're hurt, you use that pain and you do things like that. Like if a woman hurts you, instead of like, I'm never going to let a woman hurt me again, so I'm going to just go play around and all these different women play with their heart, this and that, because you're hurt and you use that hurt to do it. And I think a lot of people, when it comes to this hypersexuality in men, it is a form of cover-up of feelings. Yes. Because we don't do, other than anger and frustration.
What other way are we going to express it out?
We don't express ourselves well. So we express ourselves in our actions. So it's either, I'm going to rough this dude up, I'm going to go sleep with this lady, I'm going to go drink this, I'm going to go do that. These are all byproducts of feeling cover-up.
Yep.
My emotions, I can't.
As much as we've harbored inside, we're just keep compiling with all this now.
Yeah, drug use, alcohol use, a lot of it is based on a Band-Aid, right? It's a Band-Aid. And so all of these things that a lot of the list I'm seeing here is based on covering feelings. And so the first thing we started with about emotions, I think if men learn to better tap into their emotions and their feelings and better learn to articulate that, a lot of this goes out the window.
Yeah, the list just dwindles down if we are able to not only control but understand our feelings and emotions, and like you said, be able to articulate it. It's not easy. I won't sit here and act like it is. I mean, no, it's not. But it has to start young. So that goes with us being better examples. It might not be what we saw, but with the knowledge that we have now from books and learning into our own experiences, we got to be able to utilize it to push that forward. Because if not, history always repeats itself.
And we see it today.
Exactly.
We see the results of
it comes full circle.
Generations of covering up feelings. Yeah. Covering up your feelings leads to self-sufficiency. Covering up your feelings, acting tough. Then you go to physical attractiveness and the what we call it, the swag.
The swag, yeah.
The swag is a cover up.
Yeah, I'm in the gym 7 days a week, or I'm buying the latest shoes because
it's a cover up.
Inside, I'm hurting.
It's a cover up. Rigid the roles, the gender roles, being like, oh, I'm the man. I'm
It's a cover up. Why? You're hurting somewhere.
Cover up. Hypersexuality, cover up. Aggression and control.
Always.
Cover up for whatever. And so, therapy is good, guys. Men, get your therapy. Like, go talk to somebody. Like, I used to always be in the black community, that's like a taboo. Like, don't go talk to somebody. Like, oh, a shrink. What, I need to talk to somebody. Like, literally, dude, that gets it out. Like, at least talk to a pastor. Talk to somebody.
You gotta have somebody to talk to. It doesn't even have to be a licensed therapist, but having that shoulder to lean on, you're still in therapy. Just having that person to say, okay, I'm here to listen, just get it out.
And you need to have a forum in which that person is just a listener.
Just the ear.
And when I say go get therapy, is because those people are there to just listen. They have no connection to you as far as They're not gonna go throw your business out on the street. You don't got to worry about them feeling a certain way about your family or your spouse or this person because you talk.
They have no ties.
They
to
have
you.
no ties.
They can
to
give
you.
it to you as real as they can, as clear as possible for you.
Yeah, and so man, if I could take anything, if I could sum up this entire conversation that me and my brother just had, tap into your emotions.
Yep.
Figure out another emotion other than anger, mad, frustration. There's sad. There's bewilderment.
Mm-hmm.
There's
there's a whole list.
There's a whole
emotions.
list of emotions other than the ones that we get to check the man box for.
The man we keep on our fingers, the main 3 or 4 we have. There's a whole list that we gotta be able to figure out and express, because if not, like I said, we'll continue to cycle.
Mm-hmm.
Like, our communication and understanding how we feel is more critical to ourselves and our spouses than we think, more than we think.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not trying to take a look into it, it'll bite you. It definitely will.
And I know that the biggest parts of my relationship with my wife, the times that had gone bad,
mm-hmm.
and the bad times that we had were based on me not being able to articulate my feelings and have that conversation and be, like you said, communicative with her to the point. And I'm saying this to say that if any men out there, that's why you got to do that, because it allows for those conversations to now be deeper, more meaningful.
It opens up. It creates a different level of intimacy and everything. And
then all the stuff that with her that you thought ill of, kind of starts to go out the way because she sees you in a different light. And when you go that deep with somebody in emotions and things like that, there's nowhere to go but up.
Yes, exactly.
There's no place to go but up. And so, man, like, bruh, that's deep. This is some deep stuff. We in a time right now, but that's some deep stuff. We talking about manhood. This is the Black Fatherhood Legacy Podcast.
Man.
Until next time, next episode, we're actually going to go back into manhood, but we're going to talk to manhood in the sense of how to change it and how we think it is today as opposed to what these stereotypes are, and kind of segueing into a solution, right? So stick with us.
Let's go.
All right.